Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Black Girl Flow podcast. Like always, we are so grateful that you're tuning in to yet another episode with us in the new year. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I am feeling very low energy, very just on the struggle bus. It's giving on the struggle bus. I like I said last year, I took out my IUD. We are no longer on birth control, so my periods are in full effect. So we might just have to let y'all bring the energy on my behalf for this episode. Yeah, because I haven't been through this in such a long time, and I'm gonna do a whole haul of great period cycle things to just kind of keep me afloat.
You do have that very Bambi like face where you're like, ow. You know, when you first started out and you're reminded what is all endured in womanhood, and you're like, why do we have to do this? I can see that in a twinkle in the back of your eye where you're like, I know I signed up for this, but I wasn't ready for this.
It's been 4 years that I haven't had to use a tampon.
That's wild.
And you expect me to just snap back like shit's normal? I'm praying for all the girls that just got off birth control.
And we got your back.
Thank you. Thank you.
We got your back.
Love it. Well, anyway.
And I knew I was in this journey with you.
Listen, after I told Lexi I was getting my my IUD taken out, she was like, ooh, I am not ready for the mood swings. And I was like, well, you're going to have to be, because it comes with a whole lot of side effects.
And y'all know you gotta stand in solidarity with your sisters. So we got this. But let's just dive right into our pulse check. Obviously, we always vibe with the transparency. So thank you for being your authentic self and letting us know how you doing.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're in the middle of Capricorn season. How's it been treating you? How you feeling?
I've been feeling mad creative still. The creative energy of Capricorn season. I just want to sketch. I want to paint. I want to go outside and take pictures. And that's a really dope feeling. Yeah. Like I said last episode, I haven't really been feeling like going hard too much, but more so just enjoying the time that I have. And that could literally look like sketching something or creating my Pinterest mood board. Actually, yeah, if I could create a theme for the week, it would be Pinterest mood board. Girly. Because I've just been in Pinterest coming up with so many different ideas.
And it's so interesting. I think I saw on TikTok, of course, people talking about how Pinterest girlies are really a consistent brand. The ones who have been around with Pinterest, they're something consistent in your life that has not changed over the decades.
Yeah.
And people are Pinterest.
And Tumblr.
And it's just, it's an aesthetic for sure.
It's visually stimulating.
So when you say a Pinterest mood board, the girls who get it.
Exactly. How is your Capricorn season going for you?
Yeah, we're full send. All the people closest to me are Capricorns. And then shout out to my Tauruses. There's two. Y'all know who you are. So I'm in very celebrate my boyfriend's birthday is also in Capricorn.
My man.
And y'all, for the girls who are not gift givers by nature, this is stressful. It is a stressful time. And if you have to shop for a Capricorn, there has to be a support group for us, okay? Because these are the most creative, go-getting people. It is hard. It is hard to purchase a gift.
Shopping for a man is just tough in general, though. What am I supposed to get you?
That's so true.
Underwear, socks,
all
of the things.
If I were them, I'd feel so offended because I'd be like, what do you mean? Are my drawers not good enough for you?
A gift card to, I don't know.
What are we even?
I don't know. If you don't play video games, what am I supposed to do for you? If you don't watch sports.
It's so true. But other than that, I think I'm just more thrown by the weather. At least in North Carolina, it's been this fake winter, and for a weird reason it finally feels like it's fall, but it's January, and so that's throwing me off a little bit. So I've had a couple of just slower days and just really wanting to do nothing. But
climate change will do that to you.
No, for real, be so for real right now. It's true. So I think I'm just doing all of those things and trying to mentally get back into work, which I'm like so absent-minded about right now.
Can't even think about it.
Yeah, and I'm about to be traveling so much again for so many things, and so I'm just trying to mentally prepare, like not really being home for consistently for the next couple months, which y'all know how Olivia loves that.
Wait, so when you like plan out your travel, are you like, oh yeah, January is going to be a busy month, or does it just kind of sneak up on you and you're like, shit, like I'm traveling a lot?
I think I know. Just like last year, I went through that kind of spell where I was like back to back, like work trip, my parents' trip, like coming back, the holidays, all these things. So in my head, I already know it's not this intimidating, like it comes out of nowhere to me. It's just knowing that I'm not going to feel like there's no point in me trying to start a routine in my life right now.
That's actually so mindful.
Like you got to keep that in check of like, if I really wanted to be like on my walking and like all this stuff, or I'm like, I'm just not going to be home to do those things. So it's not even worth, I need to find something else to really ground myself and just make sure I'm on like my laundry, keeping my room clean, like those little things that I know that'll make my life simple.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, keep it simple, you know?
Love it.
But I'm really excited to jump into this episode because it's been a while since we talked about the love, the relationships. You know, we were really spending most of December doing us, right? Because remember, we talked cuddle season,
cuffing season, all of the things.
We were taking a little bit of a back seat. You know, I'm in a relationship. You were really on your grind. But New Year. Okay. I'm still in a relationship. Don't get it twisted.
Yes, very much so.
But we wanted to bring back this conversation about how we're stepping in and cultivating relationships into the new year. Because I was talking to Liv and we were rehashing what we saw on social media. And I brought up the TikTok kind of trend that was going around about going under the table and eating 12 grapes.
Which I had no idea.
And Liv had no idea. So
I have never heard of this trend.
I don't know how it skipped your timeline, but it was everywhere. But you said you were at the club and tell me what the girl said to you.
Yeah, she was like, I ate my 6 grapes tonight. And I was like, what are you talking about? Wait, I was like, what are you talking about? So if you could just explain it to me and the audience.
For those who don't know, it's kind of back and forth on which culture this originated. Some people are even saying it's kind of like the voodoo-y girlies.
Oh, okay.
But it's essentially that some traditions, some Hispanic traditions on New Year's, if you want to cultivate love in the new year, when the night strikes midnight, you go under the table and eat 12 grapes.
Oh.
And then you're supposed to find love. So there's a bunch of these montages of girls saying like, I did that last year, and then like, here's my fiance.
Stop it.
And so you know the girls ate that up.
I should have eaten all of the grapes. I had no idea.
I was like, I didn't know. Y'all didn't know. You didn't tell me.
Y'all didn't tell me.
And so then there's other ones where like, if you walk around the block with a suitcase, you'll be traveling. So it's like all of these things where people were now being like, I'm about to do that. So that always gets me thinking, like, didn't we spend a year kind of low-key, high-key bashing men in a lot of ways, saying it's the sassy men apocalypse and that, like, they're not ready for, like, all of this stuff. And now it's swinging to this other side of, I really want a relationship. I want my person. And so we wanted to open up that conversation today to say let's unpack the nuances and let's get to the nitty-gritty of how do we cultivate the mindset for a relationship and be open to that while still having the self-awareness and working on ourselves, because nothing's really promised in the year to come. So how do we make sense of that? So that's really the conversation. I'm curious what your thoughts are.
And again, y'all, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I'm keeping it a buck a lot today. Like, y'all know how y'all girl was on her celibacy journey, right? Well, I'm gonna tell you what happened.
What had happened was,
so kind of broke that streak,
new
like
year, new
at
me.
the end of the year, kind of like on my birthday. So I feel like
she pulled the Rihanna cake.
I'm kind of looking at love a little differently for whatever this year. It's kind of like,
walk us through it.
Even when you fast off of something and then you come back to it, you're kind of like, okay, I can have this thing in small portions when needed, and it doesn't have to be this like either or kind of thing. And so for me, the reason why I started my celibacy journey was because I wanted to figure out how to feel whole after having casual sex and feeling so depleted from this one particular person.
Very intentional.
Yeah, I was just like, I am so over the casual sex thing. Like, I really am a big emotional connection type person. I feel like the next person I have sex with, I'll be in a relationship with. Obviously, things took a little bit of a turn. There was a slip up. And I think some people, when they have slip ups on their abstinent or celibacy journey, they go straight back to it. And they're like, oh, well, that was just slip up. Like, I'm going straight back to the thing. For me, I realized that it was just really important for me to feel safe with whoever I was connecting with.
Yeah.
And I could still have that in a casual way.
Yeah.
And it could just be that.
Which is kind of what you wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is what I wanted. And I realized I didn't necessarily have to be in a relationship for that to be the case.
Yeah.
But I think something that I struggle with is because I am in the billion Black women in the world right now that is like, I need my husband. My husband is on the way. Always talking about.
My hand's just feeling a little empty these days.
Right, exactly. Like I'm always talking about meeting my mans.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes in this conversation of manifestation, we're like, okay, you have to literally embody the person that you want to be in order to attract that person.
Right.
And I feel like I am conflicted because I want to be able to live my life in a very sometimes casual way, but that may, according to the universe, according to the spiritual girlies, that's not how we can go about getting a man.
Yeah.
And I am struggling. Yeah, I'm toggling with it because again, it wasn't necessarily a struggle for me to maintain celibate last year. Like I could do it again. I could choose to be on that path. But at the same time, when it comes to manifestation and being the person that I want to be, I think a lot of us struggle between that like YOLO versus like
because it's
being
definitely not. And I think there's so many nuances. There's a really incredible book about this. Well, not necessarily about this, but it's by Brittany Cooper called Eloquent Rage.
Oh, yes.
I read this book in undergrad. It articulated a very, clear experience of Black womanhood. And a section of that book talks about how Black women typically swing this pendulum of really how culture has seen us, which is a complete like mammy, which is this like unsexually desired woman, very similar to a celibate, like I'm doing me, or the Jezebel, which is the very like
sexually liberated.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think what you're finding is you're like, yeah, I get on one side the like intentional protect your energy.
Yeah.
And then, but I'm also not in my hoe era.
Right.
Like I'm also done with that. Like I'm
exactly
done. Like that's in the books. Like we put that chapter away. This is somewhere in between where it's like, I want the longevity. I want the partnership. I want those deeper things. And I want people to recognize that being in a place where you can articulate that desire is exactly where you want to be.
Right.
To get that.
Right.
Because if you don't have that of saying it's not this and it's not that, then you might miss the opportunity to find somebody who's also equally yoked in that capacity of what a lot of people say.
Yeah. And I think when you're walking kind of like this thin line sometimes of understanding the nuances in between, you have to be so hyper aware of what you deserve. So like, some people are like, oh, I'm looking for my husband and I'm manifesting this, but still tolerating disrespect from a situationship. So the two can't be mutually, they can't live at the same time because you're still tolerating the disrespect.
On it. Olivia, preach on it.
So it's like you have to be so self-aware and know exactly what you want and what you deserve.
Yes.
So that you can still attract that energy while maintaining your needs being met.
Okay,
we just dropped the ball.
Run the tape back. Run the tape back. Because what Olivia just told y'all is if you are in a situationship.
No situationship.
And they have not put you into relationship, or you have asked for a relationship and they have not responded to that, you need to go. Because of that exact thing you just said.
Exactly.
Because you cannot tolerate and put yourself in a position to be treated in a particular way and then live in contradiction or hypocrisy to that and say you want something else.
Exactly. You gotta sweep up. You gotta clean your garden first.
Exactly.
Before you start expecting other people to treat you a certain way.
And I'll say too, from reflecting on where I was, maybe because even like this is not mutually exclusive to just single girls, like even relationship girlies, we can always be and oftentimes are always thinking about the state of our relationship. And me and my partner are very like we prioritize not feeling too much of a sense of comfort that like we're all done dating each other, or we know everything like that. Is we've set a lot of intentions around what we want to learn about each other and how we want to grow as that togetherness. But I remember when I was really in a similar place of I very much knew what I wanted, which was a more longer term. And I had a couple of situations that were like pretty heart-wrenching in the sense of it almost worked out and it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think that's something too of it's probably not going to be the first shoe that fits.
Absolutely.
Like you're going to have to shop. You're going to have to, and it really is like a shopping experience. Like you want to find the perfect jeans. Whoever puts on one pair of jeans and finds the perfect pair of jeans.
And it's just like, oh my God, these jeans fit so well. I'm never buying any others.
Exactly. Or you see somebody else's on social media and you're like, oh, those jeans fit perfectly on them. Not for your body type.
Right.
Like it's going to take some effort and it might come with some hardship and like a lot of lessons learned. But I do really believe that if you can find that sweet spot of articulating really what you want and how you want to be treated, while also knowing what your resolve is and what you will not tolerate being in, I really do believe you'll find it. And that's not on eating 12 grapes. Like that's actively showing up in your love life. Yeah. Single or in a relationship or even somewhere in between that.
I know. We'll definitely have more conversations, I feel like, on love, on intimacy, on just like tapping into that sexual energy even this year because baby I'm back. Baby I'm back. And I'm interested to also see if like Black women, like, are we still on our self-esteem? I'm sure y'all are.
I really okay. And there's something you told me that I really want to, since you're on your gem dropping, replay for the girlies your conversation with your friend when she was like, okay, if Liv, you want your husband, run this story back, because I think this is important for people to hear too. This is not the end all be all of our 2023.
Absolutely. So I was driving to North Carolina with my best friend. And we were talking about, my man, we're talking about dreams and everything for 2023. And she was like, do you feel like if you had a man by the end of the year, that would make your 2023 successful? And when I say I was like flustered, I was like, like I just kept stuttering because I had never thought of it that way. And I had to really evaluate, like, wait, is that something that I am pining for that much? Because I think for a lot of women, we place being in a relationship as one of like the top priorities.
For sure.
And when you put it in the perspective of if this doesn't happen by the end of 2023, does that mean that I did not accomplish what I needed to accomplish? Or like, does that not mean that I had a good year? And so I had to kind of take a step back and be like, I'm actually good off of not having a man by the end of 2023. Like, I actually want to really focus on my finances this year. And that's going to be the theme. But if that happened, and my whole thing for 2023, I want love to find me. I've been looking for love for the past few years in all the wrong places, searching and forcing it. Yeah. I've been forcing it so bad just because I've been craving intimacy. And that's why I think this conversation is so important, because you can still be in a place in your life where you are getting intimacy from people without it having to be like, I am not having any intimacy until I meet this particular person, unless of course it's for religious, spiritual reasons, right? But like, we don't have to try to be on one side of the spectrum or the other. And so I came back to her and I was like, you know what, girl, thank you so much for prompting that self-reflection, because I had no idea that was something that could be put into context like that.
And that's the exact questions that I hope everybody else is starting to ask themselves on where romance, love, intimacy sit in their 2023 year. And just like we've been talking about, the small acts of change, the openness, all of that. And we'll dive deeper into it, but we hope this has given a couple of thought-provoking moments, maybe some ahas for folks as they go off with their week.
Exactly. Dream up the 2023 y'all want to. And like always, we will see you guys next time with peace, love, and blessings. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. All right, that wraps up our episode this week.
We'd really appreciate if y'all could rate us on Apple and Spotify, as it really helps grow our BGF tribe and support our podcast.
As always, the conversation continues on Instagram and TikTok, so connect with us there if you want to join in on all the kikis.
With that said, we will see y'all next time.
Rest well, folks.